Welcome. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing tonight? As you can see, Backwoods is here with me.
What up?
So, for tonight, let's see who all we got in here first. It's been so long since I've done this. Let's see. We got Bryce McVeigh. Hello, Monty. What's up? Jeep Girl. F Home to See. Kentucky Patriot Prepper. What's up? Dusty Data, my brother.
Gosh,
Sophia. Sherry Leach. Angela B. What's going on? Unblocked and present. Yes, you are. Dusty. Let's see what. Terry Johnson. Moose Man. Let's see. Kelly Randolph, welcome. Dusty Country Road, hello. Yeah, welcome to the channel, guys. Um, Go ahead, Backwoods.
Dixie.
Huh?
What's up, Dixie? Dixie's like, hey, everybody, except Backwoods.
What's up?
Dixie always be messing with me.
What's
No,
up, Native? There's
no,
Native, Tennessee Ridge Runner.
no, he do.
Everybody
So,
except Backwoods.
so what? Yeah, what's up, man? What's
Yeah.
on the agenda tonight, man? You want?
First off, if there's anybody here in the chat that's tuning in, waiting for me to pull the pin and go ballistic on all that drama and stuff that we had last week, guys, that stuff's behind me. I think Prepper Tribe stream last night. If that didn't put a bow on pretty much every situation we were dealing with, I don't know what will. But I know I'm not going to spend any more negative energy listening or dealing with that individual person. Just for the record, I'm done with it. I have no ill feelings. I'm not mad at him. Shit happens. People do dumb stuff. I'm sure he feels like a jackass about it, and he's trying to, salvage a little bit of whatever. And I wish him all the best. Best of luck. I'm just, you don't exist in my circle anymore. So I'm over
Hell yeah.
it. Dusty
Hell
Data,
yeah.
welcome.
So what it sounds like to me, the ghost
Yeah,
show tonight with the guest Backwoods, we're going to talk about learning some shit and talk about so what the government is doing and talk about real shit, right?
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
What had
Hell
happened? What had happened was, all right. You guys know I'm a teacher, okay? Um, and I was watching like some random video on YouTube, and YouTube suggested this weird video about AI, and I was watching it. And I think I even seen something about Tim Pool was talking about AI, and the question was, what do you think about AI? And it was Elon Musk had made a comment something about, inventing AI or bringing AI to the forefront, like it isn't already here. And it just hit me in the face. I'm like, we got artificial intelligence right now. I see it every single fucking day in the school system. And by what I mean is, I've got sixth, seventh, and eighth graders that can barely read. They read on like a third grade level. They can't write. Most of their writing is illegible. Uh,
Right.
they can't add. They cannot subtract. They can't multiply. They can't divide. I'm not making this shit up, guys. They literally don't know how to do it, and it doesn't hurt their feelings that they tell you that they do not know how to do simple division, because they're not required to know how to do that anymore. The school system now, they issue them a laptop. Each kid has their own laptop. They pick it up every morning. They carry it from class to class. They Google the answers to everything on the tests. They got a computer right there on the laptop. They don't do math anymore. They don't know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I can't stress that enough. They don't know how to do it. And in 10 years, these eighth graders are going to be like running the country, and they cannot do math. The only intelligence they have is artificial intelligence. People, it's
Right.
already here. It's in the beta. It's in the beta phase right now.
Well, that's something that hit me pretty hard just then because I mean I already think like this, but that's kind of crazy, man. That I was just reading something a few days ago about Elon Musk and him being they're ready to start testing that into the human brain into the implant,
Right.
and they were Elon was talking about he was going to get it done,
Yeah.
to himself as well, and
Yeah.
it just when we remember, the word that we've used a lot, everybody uses the thought police.
Yeah.
Think about that, man, implanting that shit into your brain and it being able to read your thoughts, man.
I mean, take a look at, if you look at it overall, I mean, kids aren't, I stopped letting them use the computers in my class. I'm like the only teacher in the entire county that I teach in that refuses to let them use technology in my classroom. I will not, absolutely will not do it. When they walk through the door, they have to place their laptops on a shelf. There are no calculators in my classroom. I got rid of them. The only thing you'll find in my classroom that they can use to gain knowledge is a dictionary.
Yeah.
I have a dictionary. I had to teach a class and show them how to use a dictionary. I am not bullshitting. And
Well,
here's the messed up part. Here's the messed up part. They have more fun using that dictionary, looking up words. It blew my mind. There are days when they come in and they'll say, Mr. Martin, are we using the dictionary today? Can we do the dictionary today? They literally want to do it. They're learning and it's fun. It's not just Googling answers and you know, on YouTube, on the internet. And now you got people, you can't even, all your houses have to be smart. Your TVs have to be smart. Everything's connected to something else. Ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence is already here. And they're actively dumbing down the next generation. So they're not smart enough to combat it. I mean, they literally don't know how to function without a phone, I mean, it's when school lets out and I leave and the kids are walking home, because a lot of our kids walk home. As soon as they leave the building, they're on their phones. They're not even looking where they're going. They're walking down the street and they're just all the way home. They don't know how to read a map. They couldn't get from A to B without Google Maps.
Now think about how easily that can be manipulated into people wanting it for safety reasons, because just what you were talking about, instead of, you know, I mean, you could probably have, because they're saying that you'll just be able to think something like, what is this, and it'll automatically like give you the message or whatever, like looking at it on your phone, like on Google search.
Right.
And that's some crazy shit, because at that point, if they can do that, how do you, I mean, it's a very simple answer, actually, that they could program shit into your brain. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sit there and you keep hearing, kill that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Here's a perfect example. When I was enrolled in college up here last year, I enrolled in the classes that I had to take, and one of the classes that I had to take was art appreciation. I don't fucking appreciate, or I mean, I'm not interested in that. Okay, but on the way home, when I got home, I logged into YouTube like I always do. I sat down, logged in, and automatically the videos that were being recommended to me were for art appreciation, sketching and drawing and hashing. And I'm like, what the fuck? I had never Googled anything about art. I never did one project in the class. I have never typed art into my keyboard on my laptop. But the day I get home from registering for classes, it's on my YouTube feed. That tells me that it's all connected. From when I registered, it automatically went into some kind of algorithm, and they start pushing that shit down my throat.
Right.
And it's crazy.
It really is, man. Just when you think about all the different ways that can be manipulated, or sold to you as look at how cool this will be. You don't have to keep up with a phone. No more broken screens, and I mean, it's just, man,
it's crazy. And I'm glad to see that Native's in the chat, or at least he was. Native, if you're still here, answer me a question. Do you mind if I go ahead and share that bombshell that you and I are working on with the chat, or would you like me to wait? It's up to you. See if he replies.
Come on, Native. Huh?
So I'm sitting here waiting on Native to reply to see if he's cool with me sharing our next.
Well, I mean, it's a simple yes or no, Native. I mean, we ain't got all night and shit.
Unless you want to come up here with me and help me explain it.
Native's supposed to be Native's supposed to be so smart it takes him forever just to type that. Look.
The latest one we were talking about, you and me with the teaching stuff. Yeah, we do have a few bombshells, that's for sure. I just think it'd be cool to get like some feedback from the chat. I mean, because I know I'm pumped about it. I know you're pumped about it. JR's pumped about it. Backwoods thinks it's an awesome idea.
I would like to. I've got a PSA here in a minute when it's kind of off that AI topic. So if you want to talk some more about that, we'll talk about that. Just don't. I want to remember about this PSA, man.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a story to it, but.
What's up, Nisi? Oh yeah, and also something else for the mods here. I got a heads up from Tribe last night that there's some fake accounts. They were copying people and trying to just screw with the chat. So any of you guys with wrenches see anybody that looks fake or whatever, feel them out and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Dude, now you got like smart refrigerators.
Yeah.
Like you've got to have a TV and a computer on your refrigerator door. What the fuck? You can't go into one room in your house without being connected. It'll be the toilets next. It'll be the mirror behind the sink in the bathroom next. You'll have like a little screen off to the side.
Bud, they've already got the toilets and the showers, dude. You can go in there and they've got digital showers and you can say, put it at 86 degrees. And it'll automatically adjust it and show you the temperature that the shower is. All right, the water coming out of the shower head. And then you say, Alexa or Google or whatever you're hooked to, you can sit there and say, man, look, you can sit there and say, play my playlist number 3, and it'll play music for you. And this, you can get this in just a shower head, dude. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's all connected.
Yeah, that's my thing. What's up, Hutch?
What's up, fellas?
Oh, just hanging out, doing the damn thing. Talking about some AI, some ignorant people.
Everybody in chat, I can't see you, but
yeah. So I'm assuming Native's okay with me dropping the bombshell. So here's my latest idea, guys. Because Native was a teacher as well, and him and I talked about this a few months back. I brought it up, and he liked it, and I've been putting some feelers out there with people I know that are homeschooling their kids. And I've been checking with them on what kind of programs they're using and all this and that. And most of them are beyond unhappy with what's available. So I bounced this idea off Native probably a couple months ago. And he was like, holy shit, man, that's a great idea. And then we talked last night with JR over the Liberty Tree. And what I want to do, or what Native and I want to do is, and it's going to be a lot of work, but I think it'll be awesome, is we want to develop a website, probably through Liberty Tree, but it'll be Native and I are going to spend like weeks and months and months and months literally videotaping complete lessons for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade kids, like every subject, math, science, reading, all of it. We're going to go through and we're going to go by the state standards. It's going to be a legitimate cover everything lesson for your kids, and we're going to upload all that stuff to the database on the website. And parents that are homeschooling their kids for like a monthly subscription, they have access to all those lessons for all 3 grades, all 4 subjects. What do you guys think about that?
Well, the first thing I want to know, will you do one on spelling, man? I'll watch it for sure.
We're gonna do it all.
I literally can't spell my name, man.
It'll take a lot of time to do it, but I think it'll be an awesome resource, for parents. Even if their kids just having trouble with like doing geometry or something, they can just log on to the website.
Especially like the parents who have multiple kids that they're homeschooling.
Yep.
That way, boom, you can just hit the button for this kid. That way, they can just go to the Native. You know what I mean? As their teacher, while the parents over here focusing on this kid.
Like we're literally going to teach the lesson. We're also going to have downloadable PDF forms for their homework. worksheets, and then the parents will have access to downloadable PDFs for tests and quizzes and things like that.
That'd be awesome, dude. Really,
I think so. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think it'll be awesome. Obviously it won't be state certified, none of that, but
yeah, you've only got to do it once, and then it's pretty much set.
That's what I'm saying. You do it once, and I mean, especially things like history, it ain't going to change. Math's not going to change. Some things with language arts and stuff may change with new books and things coming out, and science, some of the stuff may change with new concepts and stuff. But I know teachers right now that have been teaching for 20 years, and for the last 10 years they haven't changed anything in their lesson plans. They just repeat everything every single year. It's word for word. So once you do a video on, say, the phases of the moon, it's not going to change. You just do it once, you know what I mean? And it's there, forever. It'll help kids kind of reinforce different concepts and stuff, because school right now is such a freaking distraction. I mean, you can't discipline them. You can't, literally, if a fight breaks out at the school, we as teachers are not supposed to physically make contact with any students at all to like stop the fight, break it up or nothing. I've already broke up 6. I ain't gonna let a kid beat another kid's ass. It is what it is. But you're not supposed to touch them. You're not supposed to stop them from fighting. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're okay with just letting them just whoop the shit out of each other? That's good. And then the lawsuit comes down that the kid got hurt on the school property, and you're gonna be pointing your fucking finger at me. I don't think so. I'm gonna do the right thing. You know what I mean? At least in my mind, I'm gonna try my best to do the right thing. But I'm not gonna sit there and just let some small kid get bullied and beat up by a bigger kid. I'm gonna break the fight up. That's just reflex. That's normal.
All right. What are you guys going to split the lessons up, like you do 2 years, he does 2 years kind of thing, or are you both going to do everything that way?
We're both science teachers. He's had more experience doing the science stuff, so he'll probably do the science, and I'll do like the math and maybe the ELA, or I'll do the math and the history, and he'll do the science and the ELA. We'll probably switch back and forth, because I think it'd be kind of a refreshing break. Like say if I start a topic, say I'm doing a topic on the solar system, I'll do everything that has to do with that unit, and then maybe I'll switch over to math, and then he'll do the next unit in science. So it's like a different face and a different way of learning, because there's going to be some ways that he presents stuff that I don't. So it'll be good to get it from both. So right now we're just shooting from the hip, just seeing if people think it's a good idea and if we should invest the time to do it, because that's going to be a lot of work.
Honestly, I think it might be one of the best ideas I've heard the entire time I've been on this YouTube.
Damn, Hutch. That means a lot.
It's your way the hell up there. That's a great idea, man. I mean, really. Where there's a no. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hutch.
No, you're good.
Where there's a no bullshit approach to it. You know what I'm saying? It's just down to basics. We ain't talking about this and that and getting distracted and saying this is because of the liberals or this. We're going to get down to actual real education. Just straight legit.
And I know how Native felt about it with the politics and stuff in the school system. Like, it's hard for me to go to work every day, and I know that there's this stuff I need to teach these kids, but I'm not allowed to do it because of the simple fact there's no discipline and they run wild. So right. It's like, at home with mom and dad or whatever, their demeanor is going to be a little bit different because they're not at school surrounded by their friends going nuts. So I think that it'll make me feel better, like I did my job right by being able to put the knowledge out there. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to log onto the site, or their parents don't want to do it, that's fine. But I still think it would be it'd be good just to have it there for anybody that has kids, like even anybody in the community. If you got kids and they need, and they got a test coming up on this, that, or the other, or they're having a problem with geometry, instead of just logging on to, whatever, you can just go to Liberty Tree, click a button, and you can go straight to the courses, and they can review it. And the whole, and we'll do like electives too. Like we're gonna do like a lot of botany stuff, a lot of agriculture stuff, plants, and how to do a garden, how to grow hydroponics, aquaponics.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. As soon as you mentioned that the other day, my brain went into overtime thinking how I could kind of tweak that and see, like, if you guys take off with it and actually does become something. If the few of us who are doing this actual community idea shit get something going with that would be a perfect blend later on in the future as a possibility. You know what I mean? One of those.
Yeah. I mean, it could grow into something, pretty big, because the courses that these parents are paying for now, they've got to be state certified, obviously, for the homeschool stuff, so they can get their diploma and all that. And I'm not trying to compete with that, because I don't want to have any fucking state regulation on how my brain works. You know what I mean? I just want to be somebody just sharing knowledge and to offset their because they're going to have their curriculum from the state to make sure the kid gets the diploma. But whether they choose to look at that curriculum or they choose to look at mine before they take the test and the exams, it's completely up to them. But some of these courses, like say you buy a course for say 7th grade science, it's like $250, $300, $400 for the course. Instead of just becoming a member of, and you just get it for that course that year. That's only your access. You don't get any downloadable stuff. You can watch it, and you get hard copy stuff like the testing and all that stuff's done online. The parents aren't getting to keep any of that stuff to be able to reuse it. That was a big deal with me having the downloadable PDFs where the parents can, because I want the parents to be the ones that are actually testing and grading their kids. You know what I'm saying? Not me. I don't want them to take my word for it that their kid can do geometry. I want the parents to get some gratification out of giving them the test and seeing what they can do. I think that would be good, getting the parents more involved in it, because that's a big issue even in politics now, is the parents being removed, from the ability to teach their kids and have control over what they're learning. And by being a member, at the tree, you'll have access to it forever. It's not going anywhere. Once we post it, we're leaving it there. So if you had 10 kids every year, if you got 4 kids and they're spaced apart a year apart, every year it's going to be there. I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a damn good idea. And I think I can't really think of 2 better people to fucking do it than you and Native. Real shit. Like,
yeah,
it'll be fun. I mean, I appreciate that. It'll be fun. I know Native was jacked up about it when I brought it up, and it was like, and him and I were talking. I'm like, dude, I can't believe nobody's done this before. Because, and I think people have thought about doing it, but they want to do it to where it's certified and they can get state grants and all this money from the government. And I'm not trying to compete with any schools. I'm trying to supplement what the kids are supposed to be learning and make sure they actually learn it, so they can physically do the test and take the test and actually succeed in doing it.
Better option, public school. I mean, you can't fucking go wrong with that. Plain and simple. A better option than public school.
Well, that's definitely that's definitely what's on the burner. And it'll probably be, I mean, because I got to get this T-shirt thing up and running and all this stuff, but because it's going to be something to where it's like, it'll be like just start videoing lessons all day long. It'll take me a while to get all the lesson plans together, because I'm gonna network with a few teachers that I work with now, and I'm gonna just go up to some of them. Hey, do me a favor? Can I just have like your entire year's lesson plans? And they're cool. They'll be like, here, take it. So then I already have the lesson plans, and I can just go home and present the information myself. So it'd be something like, he and I, we'd spend, oh my God, see, it'll take several months, if not years, to really get it up and running. Because we'll do like 1 grade and get 1 grade level done, like 6th grade, and then do 7th grade, and then do 8th grade.
I think it'll definitely be worth the work, though. I mean, y'all are going to be the ones doing it, but I think it would be worth the work.
Yeah. Plus, the cool part about it, all the work's in the front end. It's like all the work will be in doing the recording of the videos and the editing and getting them uploaded. After that, maintenance.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, I want to do a PSA, man.
Here we go.
I got a little story. So yesterday, I was sitting here in my shop. I was getting ready to go down to the public and get a few things that I can't get here. And I hear this woof thing, kind of like I don't know, it was like almost like a concussion feel. And my back door hit real hard, like a hard gust of wind hit it, but the wind wasn't blowing. And I thought, the hell was that? And I got up and I went outside and I start walking around and I'm looking, right? And, I'm looking around, nothing. I was like, all right, well, so some people started talking about it on Facebook. So like you could, like lots of people felt that. Well, come to find out, man, the lady that used to live across the street, the one that y'all heard me talk about, keeping her grandson. I taught him in football and, like he stayed at our house a whole lot. Her house exploded while she was in it.
Damn.
She is in a coma an induced coma because she is so badly fucked up and burned that she is in the burn unit, and that she is going to be in a coma for at least 5 days.
Wow.
Malfunctioning gas heater. She had complained about the gas heater malfunctioning and had tried to fix it, I think, or somebody was supposed to come and get it fixed. Well, it malfunctioned, and whatever happened, because we don't know exactly what happened, whatever happened, her shit blew to pieces.
Damn.
Was it an actual heater or like the one that almost blowed up on you at the deer cabin?
Well, it's a gas heater. Well, all gas heaters have that valve. You know, they have a pilot light. You know, and that's what, you know, I'm figuring probably that's what happened, is the son of a bitch malfunctioned. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Now I want to let you know, to tell you how powerful it was. The highway, Milkmaid, you're in here. I seen Milk. Yeah, there's Milkmaid. Milkmaid, you know where we met at the power lines? It was right up the street from that, at the where the big power line, the substation was, where we met at, so we could go down to that right there. That is the on that highway, just right a couple of miles down from there. It was up there, and I felt it at my house, this explosion.
That is a very good question, Sherry Leach. Go ahead, Backwoods. I'm sorry.
Oh, just so real quick, you know, I put out that video, and nobody has to go watch the video if you don't want to. I'll say it right here. Check your gas heaters. Anything that is connected to any kind of pressurized gas, keep an eye on that stuff, man. It's that serious, man. Like she may die, man, you know. And we know this lady very, very well. I mean, in fact, when we went out of town, because we have the dogs and the chickens, when me and my wife has had to go out of town for 3 or 4 days, she comes and stays at our house and feeds our dogs and our chickens and stays here. That's how well we know her.
Wow.
So just everybody, you know, please check your shit, man. Please. Anyway, go ahead, Ghost.
I was just going to address this question from Sherry Leach. It says, Ghost, how would you handle any questions a parent or student has? I've been putting a lot of thought into that, Sherry. And here's one thing I've noticed. Like, I teach 6 classes a day. I teach 2 6th grade, 2 7th grade, and 2 8th grade classes. And the cool part is, when it comes to questions, it's usually the same questions that get asked in every single class by different students. They usually ask the same questions. So, and obviously from the parents, they're going to be asking questions too. So what I figured we would do is, like, when somebody emails me in a question, because there'll be an email there for the questions. When somebody emails me a question, I'm going to save all those questions and do it kind of like these other companies do and websites do. And they'll have like a frequently asked questions box to where you can refer to their frequently asked questions. And if the answer isn't there, then obviously shoot me with an email or something. But after we go through that for a few months, you'll find that a lot of the questions, they're the same questions over and over and over again, because you can only ask so many questions about why does the moon, how does an eclipse work? Once you explain exactly how it works, they'll ask a couple of questions. But yeah, that's probably what we're going to do. We'll have a valid email address, obviously, that'll be checked regularly, but we're just going to save all the questions and put them in a frequently asked questions type situation.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's some. I just wanted to say real quick. That's awesome information, Navy. It's talking about there's a small exhaust blower that creates a vacuum when it's on that triggers a safety switch before the pilot light can come on. If that gets bypassed, gas builds up before the pilot light.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy. Yeah, but cool. I'm glad. So I didn't see anybody say no. That sounded like a shitty fucking idea.
That's a great idea, man. Shit. We need more of that, man. We really do.
That's going to be a huge project.
You should have started this a year ago. What the hell, man?
I know, right? I'll be almost done by now. But that'll be a huge project. That'll be something to where, we both got to, dedicate like a couple hours a day on Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday, or an entire day, and just start ripping out these lesson plans and getting them recorded and getting them uploaded. But it'll be fun. It'll be a huge challenge, but it'll be fun. I think, and I think it'll be well received to the community, especially people that are struggling to homeschool now. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And that on top of doing the t-shirts, because Native and I are both to the point to where it's like, dude, I don't want to fucking work for anybody else but me. You know what I mean? So it's like, we can get the t-shirt thing going, the YouTube thing going, and try this teaching thing with the Liberty Tree, and see what happens. And still, still substitute, part-time and stuff. But
I have been working on some drawings. That way I can hurry up and do a logo.
Cool.
If I do merch, it's going to be through you. So
brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I know I did a lot more research. I got more supplies in today. I've just about got everything I need. They sent me they canceled my first order of screens, so I reordered the high quality aluminum ones that I can do for you guys, where I can just burn your print once and save it forever. And those are good quality screens, but they sent me the wrong mesh count on the screens. So I reordered some today that should be here next week, I think. Yeah, next week. And then I got to build the ones that I'm going to use to make the hats, to screen print the hats and stuff. And then I've got to build the platen to hold the sleeves along, because I'm going to do long sleeve shirts, whatever. I'm going to print on fucking anything. I don't care. I'm going to figure a way to print on beanies too.
Hey, if I can figure out where to get these, then this is pretty much all I want to sell, but I can't find this exact thing.
I'll give a look, see if I can track something down.
Like I have.
I know once they get started, I'll meet people in different companies, and they'll be like a little network, a little printing group. Because I've subbed to most all the printing channels on YouTube, trying to learn and figure this stuff out, and they're really helpful. That's a pretty good community. Them motherfuckers are very competitive, though, man. Them motherfuckers, they'll share any secrets. They'll share secrets with the motherfuckers they hate, just so they feel like they're on an even playing ground to see who can print the best stuff. They're competitive as shit.
Oh yeah.
But it's a pretty cool community. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a lot of work, but
I've said that often about, talk about ideas, and then somebody runs and do it, and 90% of the time, I'm, because myself, and back off and like, well, fuck, we shouldn't have even said nothing. They went off and stole it. But then I've thought about it a lot of times, man. I'm like, well, fuck them, man. Let them do my idea, because you know what? I'm going to show them how to do it better, because it's my fucking idea. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of a competition deal. I mean, especially if, like you're talking about, you and Native are talking about this, this teaching thing. What if, some people run out there that's kind of in close proximity, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And runs out there and starts doing some shit like that. Fuck them, let them do it, because y'all are going to do it better. You know what I mean? Because y'all are smarter.
It's like everybody asks, it's like you were saying, Backwoods, get off the couch and do the things, do something. Yeah. Well, we know the world's broke. We know the country's fucked. We know the education system sucks. So this is kind of like our way of like, maybe, instead of all the kids growing up illiterate, maybe we'll be able to help 15 or 20, a year actually go to college, get a degree, maybe be able to make a change or be something different. Because we're on the road of we're on the road of complete and utter destruction. Because when they put out the reports of how our kids are doing in school, those are doctored fucking reports. No kid gets failed. I had a kid last year, he had a 6. His average in my science class was a 6. One fucking digit, it was a 6. It was less than 10. He passed. This kid can't read, can't write, nothing. And they're just blowing him through the grades. All they're doing is they're blowing him through the school system, and then they're going to shove him straight into the penitentiary because he has no life skills. It's like, what do you
either
do?
that, or they're gonna put a chip in his brain, man, and control his thoughts.
Yeah, but now you got them kids over in like China. Dude, those are some fucking math savants. All they do is learn. All they do is learn. The TikTok in China, you don't get no videos of some half-dressed 12-year-old girl bouncing and twerking. I mean, legitimate porn on TikTok, legitimate illegal stuff right there in your face every day. Not in China. It's all educational videos, all how-to videos, instructional videos. It's all knowledge stuff. Over here, it's just how to be a deviant and fail at life.
TikTok is in China is like that higher education type shit you go and watch, man. Over here, yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't watch TikTok, but I watch some videos on YouTube of people showing TikTok videos, and I'm just like, this just
last year we had a power outage at school in the middle of the day. Power goes out. Not the power, I'm sorry, the internet goes out. Like we had no internet at all in the entire school. They legitimately, the principal came around to all the teachers, or the principal, vice principal, another teacher walked around and said that if we didn't get the internet back on in the next half an hour, we were going to dismiss the school early because they can't teach without the internet. And I'm like, I'd already whipped out the textbooks, man. The internet went down. I didn't even know it. Somebody come tell me because we don't use the fucking internet in my classroom. I'm like, I haven't used it since I've been here. So why close the school? I mean, it's the most ridiculous. And I even had one teacher come to me and complain. She's like, Mr. Martin. I'm like, yes, ma'am. She said, are you the one that has all the kids using the dictionaries and won't let them use a computer? I said, yes, ma'am. And she goes, I'm like, what? She goes, you're making my job so much harder. I'm like, why? She goes, because you took all the dictionaries out of the library and all the kids are asking for dictionaries in my class. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Get more fucking dictionaries. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the teachers have gotten lazy. They just show up. They just pray to God nobody stabs somebody in the classroom or sets the building on fire. And they just sit back and yell and scream. Some of them just let the kids do whatever and just make it through the 8-hour workday and go home. And I'm like, I ain't doing that.
Isn't it like really fucking crazy the difference between 30 years from being in high school to now? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I drove to high school with 2 shotguns in my gun rack in my truck. We had a shooting class in school.
We had a shooting range. Yeah, we had a shooting range behind our school, and during lunch, there would be a couple of teachers come out there, and you could go back there and just practice. Not even for shooting, just practice.
We built the shooting range at my school. Our shot class, we literally built the shooting range.
Yeah.
And we shot every week. We come to school with shotguns, rifles, 22s, bows and arrows. It was normal. And nobody was fucking shooting each other.
Hell no, because everybody had a gun. It's like shit.
It's like, what in the hell?
Start shooting at folks, man, you're going to get shot quick.
we had a horticulture class in school. One of our classes was horticulture. We built a greenhouse. We would grow seedlings. We would sell them every year. When spring came, make money for the school. I was growing weed. Like every other tomato plant was a pot plant. I was making money on the side. I ain't gonna lie. And you were selling them right out of the greenhouse. I mean, it was like,
Man, that's what I'm saying, man. The difference in just that time frame, man, and that's where the elitist has came in. These ones that wants to control people. That's where they came in and took over the stuff because they were like, no, man, we're keeping people too smart. We're making them self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying?
And and they are so messed up. All right. The admin side of teaching is completely separate than the teaching side of teaching. It's like the administrators for education are just like the administrators for a hospital. None of those motherfuckers are doctors. I don't know if y'all know this or not. But the administrators in the hospitals, those guys aren't doctors. They don't have medical degrees or anything. They went to school for like fucking business management. Their job is just to make the hospital a business. They don't know anything about medical stuff. And a lot of the times your administrators in schools and school boards have no clue what it's like to be a teacher. There's no teaching requirements for that job. So they're completely disconnected on what it takes to teach somebody something and how you grade them and how they learn. So in their minds, if all the kids have a computer and they have access to all this unlimited knowledge, they're learning, but they're not fucking learning. They're Googling. They're not retaining that knowledge. They can't regurgitate that to me at a moment's notice. And that's what learning is. When you learn something, that means you retain that knowledge and you can share it.
Well, that's it though. They don't want you to learn. They just want to make it so easy for you to have the information there so that you don't have to learn. You don't have to be self-sufficient. You have to be reliant on the system, to tell you what they want you to learn. You know what I'm saying? To learn about this.
There's a website that just launched not too long ago that if you're in, say, high school or even in college, and you have to write an essay or an essay or a book report, anything like that, you can log on to this website and you can say, please generate me an essay on the Civil War from such and such a perspective on this date, Union Army soldier, yada yada, and it will generate a unique, specific essay for the parameters that you gave it. And kids are doing that and turning it in and getting passing grades. They didn't even read the fucking thing.
Well,
this is true.
This jobs are left out there anyway. That like all they really have to do is teach them how to use a computer program. Like that's really the only focus. Because anything in their future, pretty much.
There's a website called Quizlet right now, and in college, in college, I was watching kids doing this. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like getting answers to the quiz. I'm like, how are you getting the answers to the quiz? And they just go to Quizlet and you copy and paste the question, and it takes you to the actual questions, and it gives you the question and the answer to all the answers on the quiz and the exams, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because the teachers or the professors, they aren't generating unique questions from their brain. They're just going on the site and they're downloading these quizzes and giving them to the kids. The kids are going right back to the site and downloading the answers and fucking putting them in. So what's the point? You know what I mean? It's like, right. I don't get it. You're not learning anything, and I had it, and I think I said something the other night with Tribe on here, the teacher next door to me teaching history, and on December 7th, I asked him, I'm like, what are you guys, doing today? He's like, oh, we're doing the original 13 colleagues, this, and that, and the other. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? Is that what you mean? I said, dude, today's Pearl Harbor Day. Today is Pearl Harbor Day. Why are you not talking about Pearl Harbor, at least for, a couple of minutes, or at least addressing the fact it was a major change in world history. It changed the entire fucking world, and you're not even bringing it up. You're talking about the 13 colonies. Don't get me wrong. It's not like that isn't important, but this is fucking Pearl Harbor Day. And I told him, I said, do me a favor, go on your calendar, even though I know school will be out, and go ahead and circle June 6th. Okay. What's June 6th? I'm like, dude, you got a fucking degree in U.S. history, and you don't know what happened on June 6th. No. Fucking D-Day, man. Overlord, the invasion of Europe, World War II. They're just completely lost. Now he's wearing, and I'm shitting you not, he's got hair down to his ass, and he wears bright fucking neon pink Chuck Taylors, Converse, with the goofiest. I'm like, dude, he's a man bun Starbucks all fucking day long. And I'm like, bro, and he can't control the class. He literally had the principal send a police officer down to stand outside the classroom door for the entire half of the day, the second half of the day, because the kids wouldn't listen to him. And he thought they were going to whoop his ass. They got up and wrote "fuck you" on his walls and permanent marker. They took scissors to his computer and cut all of his cords. I mean, it was like, I'm like, dude, you got to grow up here, man. Set an example and make sure it's a girl. He's like,
is there a way to bounce back after that, though? Like after they've already after those kids have already punked him like that, is there really a way to bounce back?
No, I don't think so. But it's like he's like, how do you do it? You're right beside me, and you got the same kids, and they're fucking silent as a dead body in your classroom. I'm like, because it's my fucking classroom. There's not a question of who's in charge. They know I am. In your room, dude. Number one, I'd stop wearing pink shoes. Number two, make an example out of somebody. Pick a girl. Pick a little girl. Make an example out of a girl, and it will freak them out. They're expecting you to make an example out of the quarterback of the football team, the big tough guy, the bully. Make an example out of somebody they would not expect it, and it completely takes them off their game, and then go to work. It's just crazy. I mean, I've been there so long now, I don't even have to raise my voice. I just look. I'll take my glasses off and give them that death stare, and they're just like, And I'll go over to a kid if he's misbehaving and he's making too much noise or he's talking, he's sitting at his desk. I'll sit down right in front of him, and I'll get down eye to eye, 6 inches apart, and I'll just stare at him. And I'll stay there for 5 minutes. Like, I'll stay there until they start quaking in their boots. I won't say a fucking word. The whole room gets deathly silenced, and I just stare. And they're like,
living the
looking
awkward.
at the paperwork and looking up. You know, it's like, I mean, if you're not going to bring your nuts to school with you and pretend like you're the boss, why come?
Right.
I mean, that's the first thing you have to teach is control of the classroom. Right? You can't, if you don't have the attention of the people that you're trying to impart knowledge on, you're wasting your time. It's like some of the best instructional videos to be a teacher. Watch some military videos and basic training of how the drill instructor addresses the troops. There ain't nobody talking. It's knife hand, and it's forceful. It's loud. Get their attention, and it's like, that's the way I learned how to teach. So that's the way I teach. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy, man. It's just ugh. That's why I'm motivated to do this thing with the online classes, or whatever you want to call it, whatever we decide to call it. You know, because that'd be mainly for the parents that really care and they know their kids have issues. You know, the ones that don't care. I mean, it's sad to say, but like, even at the high school level, most of the kids in high school now, they've already decided if they're going in the military. They've already decided if they're going to try to get good grades and go to school, or they've already decided if they're going to just get pregnant by 3 different baby daddies and 3 different kids so they can get child support from 3 different people. I mean, that's literally a life plan for a lot of these girls in school right now. They will tell you to your face. They'll tell you, I'm gonna do it just like my mama did. They're proud of it, and they're proud of it. I'm like,
it's sad, really, man. It really is.
mm-hmm.
So what?
Oh, Miss Sharon posted something here. We got Casey Little out tomorrow, Sunday at 3:30.
Yep, I already got it saved. If I'm where I can watch it, I'll sure watch it.
For real. Yeah, it's depressing. I mean, it's rewarding. There are some good days. It's like I have a handful of kids that were going in the way wrong direction, but they responded to me real well. And now their grades went from, you know, like 20s and 30s to they're getting 90s, 95s, 98s on all the tests and quizzes. And they're doing amazing. I'm getting messages from their parents, and they're like, "Are these grades for real?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're for real. If you don't believe me, ask them some questions. Your daughter retains this knowledge. She knows how to do this math now. My daughter sucks at math. Not anymore." You know?
See, that was one of the biggest problems whenever we took our boy out and homeschooled him for that year and change, was that he actually wanted to learn, but he was a jock. So the school cared more about having him on the football and doing that shit. So they gave him 2 gym classes plus football practice. He was like, "No, I want to go to art class or something." And he was like, "I actually want to learn shit." You know what I mean?
I remember when I was in school, I played football, and my coach flat up came to me and said, you know, for exam times and test times, he's like, "Go talk to the cheerleaders. You need to speak to this girl, and this girl." I'm like, "Why?" "They'll help you with your stuff." I'm like, "Oh, cool. They're going to tutor me." "Cool." He goes, "No, they're going to do it for you." I'm like, "They're going to what?" Like, they literally made sure, like, it was some sideways stuff. And I'm like, "No, I can do my own work. It's not a big deal." Because, like, when I went to school, if you didn't maintain a C plus average, a 77 or 78 or above, you didn't play sports, period, at all. I don't care if you were the starting quarterback. I watched my football coach bench the QB1 more than once. You know, now they don't care. You can have straight fucking zeros. You can go, I mean, you have kids that literally come to school with a pillow and they just sleep through all the classes. I mean, it's like, it's the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. If you've never been into the school system since you got out of the school system 20 plus years ago and you went in there now, you would think you were on another planet. It was a kick to the nuts when I showed up. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? You know?
There ain't no way to change it either. It's too far gone. It's too much of a business. There ain't no respect for it anymore. And it's like, it's different too, because even the schools that we've been in, we've had the boy in probably 4 or 5 different schools over the course of his life, and each one has been different and had its own individual complaint that came along with it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like everything's hit and miss when you're out in these small towns. Like, sometimes you'll get lucky, and you'll have some of these programs. Sometimes you'll run into some that preaches that utopia bullshit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hit
It's ridiculous, man. I mean, that's just one of the reasons why I wanted to do this thing. And I mean, like, I think I'm not necessarily biting off more than I can chew, but it's going to be a crap ton of work, but it'll be worth it, I think, in the end. You know, even if it only helps just a few people, I think it'll be worth it.
Absolutely.
Plus, it'll be some good content for YouTube or for Liberty Tree and the whole nine. But yes, I'm right now. Like my plan, I think I should get my flash dryer. Thank you guys in the chat. People are wonderful last week. Y'all really hooked me up. I ordered that flash dryer the very next day. It takes like 2.5, 3 weeks to get here. So it should be here. It'll definitely be here by Christmas. But so I should be one more week of school, and then school's out for Christmas break. So that's when I plan on doing a lot of my tweaking and practicing and trying to figure it out. So hopefully by Christmas or by the first of the year, I'll be ready to start mailing stuff out. So no, it's not a hot press, Miss Sharon. I got a flash dryer because it can be used like the heat press, the manual heat press is cool to have. If I do decide to start doing some heat press stuff, I'll get one. But I wanted the flash dryer because I can just work it straight over the shirt while it's on the press, and I don't have to take it off. Because for some shirts, like when you run ink, you have to flash dry it for a certain amount of time to pre-cure the ink, and then you go another layer of ink to make it nice and bright. And doing it with the heat press, that would be a major pain, taking it off and then trying to line it back up. So I definitely had to have a flash dryer. It was either that or use a heat gun. I could do it with a heat gun. It'd just take a lot longer.
Shit, it's TT1 Love.
I don't know. Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't get an alert or anything. I haven't gotten alerts from anybody. Oh, and I had to resub to you again, Hutch. That's like 7 or 8 times.
What the
I had
hell?
to resub. I had to resub to like a bunch of people.
Dude, I have been unsubbed from Hutch. I get unsubbed from Hutch like once a month, like for real.
Well, that's fucked up.
And it's just you. I've been unsubbed from Tribe once, but you, I get unsubbed from all the time.
I have only been unsubbed from somebody once. I can't even remember who.
I get unsubbed from you. Dude, I should have a punch card for like a free Starbucks coffee or something from getting unsubbed from you.
Hey, on a completely random note, can y'all hear me clearly? I feel like I'm yelling.
You're a little low, but I can hear you.
I'm in one of those talk low phases. I'm on
the
phone.
So it's fucking... Oh man, I can't hear you, man. You're gonna have to fucking speak up, man. Speak like a man.
This is my loud voice. Right. I got you, Dick.
Yes, it'd be pretty cool. I'm excited about the shirt thing. I know I'm gonna fuck up a bunch of shit, but I'm gonna fuck up live on camera. I ain't gonna hide it. You know, so it's gonna be kind of cool.
Ask Virginia Roots. I was talking about that very thing today to her.
What?
About when I'm doing this hatchet and stuff like that, I wanna keep it all on video. So when I fuck something up, because I know I'm going to, I want it to be on video and I want to show it and I want to talk about it, you know, and be like, look, here's what I did wrong. You know, I fucked up, man. I just run this, you know, $30 piece of wood, and you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I want to talk about it, you know, and I kind of like let's fuck up together, you know what I'm saying? And learn from it, you know.
Own those mistakes, because everybody's going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate the channels that do like the staged successful experiment type thing, because like in the aquaponics thing and the hydroponics thing, you'll see that like somebody there's probably 500 channels out there that started with aquaponics, and they're like, I got my fish, I got my grow beds, I got my clay pebbles, and I'm doing the plants, and it'll show them, you know, planting the plants, and then there will never be an update video. Like all their shit died and they decided not to do it anymore. Or you'll see somebody do an update video, but it's obvious as shit those are different plants. He literally went to the store to the nursery and got some new plants and shoved them in there because they're in different places. They're way smaller than they should be because I had an aquaponic system. I know how fast that shit grows, but it's obvious that they went in there and they doctored it up to make it look amazing, and they don't go over any of the headaches or the heartaches or the problems that you had with it, which is like bullshit.
Well, Dixie says the definition of a professional is knowing how to fix your mistakes without anyone being able to notice them. Well, see, I'm not a professional because when I fuck shit up, it usually fucks it up bad. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I just figured I'd just like share the learning and just make it like a whole journey of learning how to screen press and learning how to make shirts and hats and hoodies and all that stuff and like seeing how it works. Because like lots of times, and I heard some people complain about the price of shirts and this and that and the other, but I'm gonna do them as cheap as I possibly can. But it's like, if you research screen printing, it's a lot of fucking work to make a shirt. Like a lot of work. It's usually a complete day, if not a day and a half, just getting the screen burned and doing the artwork on the computer and getting things printed off and getting it set up and lined up to do one shirt. Now, once you get it lined up, you know, that's why one shirt costs so much. You know, if you're getting 500, it's not that bad because the price goes down because you don't have to set it up 500 times. You set it up once and just rock and roll.
Well, so, I'll tell you my first shirt design is going to be right over the heart at like a 45-degree angle. I want to say property of Hutch, like the stamp.
Oh, nice. Kind of like the USDA stamp.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Cool.
We're definitely got to come up with some artwork that's going to say you never go full Hutch.
Right. I got to have a note. I got to have a note somewhere.
Yeah. That's like, I think we started saying that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I've got a bunch of good ones in my head. Like some crazy good ones. I got some that'll, are really, really fucking rude. Like there'll be like an offensive t-shirt button that you can click to see, you know, like in the old days when you go to the video store and they have all the good adult videos in the back room. Yeah, we're going to have like one of those buttons for the t-shirt company where you click this button at your own risk. You know what I mean?
All right.
But yeah, so what do y'all think about old Brittany Griner?
I think it's bullshit. I hope her plane fucking crashes in the ocean on the way home.
Dude, and don't get me wrong, I don't think she should have went to jail in the first place. I think it was a political stunt. But I mean, at no point in time for the remainder of history should that motherfucker have been released from a U.S. prison. He's called the Merchant of Death for a reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's killed.
It's one of those common sense things, though. Like, I don't believe that weed, obviously, that weed should be illegal. I mean, that's kind of a given. But still, she's been to Russia before. You know what I mean? She
plays ball there.
Yeah, you can't spout off all this "I hate America" stuff, but then try to take your American lifestyle over here where you know you're going to get some kind of punishment. You know what I mean?
It's not like she didn't know the rules. I mean, she lives there for months out of the year playing basketball.
Exactly.
The whole time talking shit about America. But
that's what I'm saying. Traded someone that talks shit about America, that hates America, traded one of the worst fucking people on the planet for someone that hates America and left a person that fought for America over there. You know, that's some bullshit, man. It just goes to show these people hate the American idea, the American way. These people hate this shit, and it sucks to say it, man, but they're winning, dude. They're fucking winning.
This liberal shit. That's like I'm definitely gonna do one shirt. It's gonna take me forever to do it, but it's gonna say "Make America America Again," and the first America is gonna be the pride flag colors, the rainbow, and the second America is gonna be in red, white, and blue. Make woke America America again. But it's already broke beyond fixing. We can't fix it. Whatever happens, like our future is going to be new. It's going to be not necessarily uncharted territory, but it's not going to be. We're never going to see the 80s again. We're never going to see the 90s again. That's all. That's over and done with.
But I can say this: I'd be willing to bet people money, you know, because like I said, I said it on a live stream not too long ago that I I think Trump needs to sit down and shut the fuck up sometimes, but I'll say, I think if Trump would have been in charge of that, I think he would have got both of them back.
Yeah. And here's another thing. I mean, like simple shit. It's like, why is there even a discussion about gun reform, gun control, banning guns? Read the fucking piece of parchment. Shall not be infringed. That means there's nothing to fucking talk about here, people. Move on. Pick another number on this piece of paper.
But they're not supposed to do insider trading, but yet they do. They're not supposed to. There's so many things that they're not supposed to do. The whole laptop deal, man, where, oh no, I don't have no dealings. No, I don't have no dealings with my son. No. And then and I mean, nothing gets done to these people. So why should they stop? Why should they stop at the Second Amendment? Because it says shall not be infringed, because nobody's done nothing about anything else.
Yeah. Well, it's like you don't see. It's like Tim Pool had a guy on last night. Amazing dude. He was the father of one of the girls that got killed at the shooting in Uvalde. If y'all hadn't seen that 2-hour stream he did last night, it's one worth watching. It was really, really good.
Who?
This cat, Tim Pool.
Oh yeah, I hadn't seen it yet.
This cat was talking about the one of the police officers that got there first, that ran up to the door, heard the shooting, and then he went and hid, and it was all on camera, but it wasn't the camera footage that they showed the public. He got to see it, other people, but this cop's in jail right now. They're trying to decide what to charge him with. But obviously dereliction of duty and this, that, and the other. But
they're trying to get him for multiple accounts of child endangerment.
Oh yeah. And he went through in details about all kinds of stuff that has never come out in the press, because they spun the narrative their way, then they changed the subject and they moved on to something else. They don't want everybody to know exactly what's going on. But he's all involved in that. And he was talking about how he's friends with DeSantis, and so he's got, like, not necessarily insider scoop stuff, but he's given real intel that he could share, he would share. But yeah, it was one of the best interviews Tim Pool does. And don't get me wrong, like, some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, I completely disagree with. Some of the stuff I totally agree with. That's one of the reasons why I like his show, because he doesn't classify himself as left or right. He tries to keep it middle of the road. And that's why I like watching the show, because he'll bring a liberal on there in a minute. And he'll bring a far right wing on there in a minute. He doesn't care. Come on and say your mind. That's one of the reasons why I like watching him. But it was a really good show yesterday. He's had some weird ones here lately, but when he had Kanye on there, that was just fucking stupid. I knew that was a disaster before it ever started. And then he was
fellas,
going.
I will holler at y'all later.
All right, brother. Thanks for hanging out. But he was going into the Elon Musk stuff with Twitter and all that, and him having to have security and assassination threats and things like that. So, and I said that to somebody a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I sure hope Elon Musk has some real good security, because, yeah. We won't go any deeper into that until we get to the members only.
Yeah, there's some stuff we got to be careful about saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only good thing is everything that we just said tonight has been all over YouTube for the last 2-3 weeks. So
yeah, true. It's been all over YouTube, the news. I mean, everything, man. So I mean,
if they're talking about on MSM, we can talk about it here. You would think, but they may still just smack a motherfucker in the back of the head anyway, just to do it. But I don't know. It's like, I don't agree with everything Elon Musk, like his views. I don't agree with a lot of them. But that's the point. I don't have to agree with everything he says. I don't have to like the guy. I don't have to like Trump. I don't have to like anything.
Right.
You get to be you. We've got away from that.
Yeah, I never was like a super Trump follower. I fucking cussed him and talked bad about him, just over the bump stock ban, the executive order shit, and so ain't none of them, I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to completely agree with everybody. That doesn't mean I dislike them. That doesn't mean I like them. It's just,
Here's the thing too. I think they're doing the way the government structured is wrong. There shouldn't be anything. There should not be an executive order. If you're going to change anything in DC, it needs to go by that piece of paper that we hold so dear.
What
Everything you need to know is in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what executive orders were originally designed for?
Go ahead.
Back in the day, when we just had horse-drawn carriage and such, horses to ride on. Back in the day, so Congress couldn't convene, at a moment's notice like they can now. Hell, you can just turn the computer on now. The executive orders were meant to in an emergency situation to be able to ride out for a 30-day period to give Congress time to convene and decide on if the executive order was constitutional or not. And if the executive order was not constitutional, then it was not applied. Thereafter the 30 days.
That's the way we should be using it right now, the same way.
That's the way it's supposed to be used. That's the intent of an executive order.
The thing is now the American people are so weak that the powers that be can pretty much just do whatever they want and not really give a shit what we think because they don't care. They're not being held accountable for any of it.
Well, and that's the thing, they talk about, them are right wing, radicals. The one thing I have to say is it'll take right wing radicals to be in there to be able to swing it back enough for it to get into any kind of control. Otherwise, I mean, if the Supreme Court deal, have you seen anything about that where they're looking at the constitutionality of mail-in ballots and stuff?
I've heard some stuff, but I hadn't really dug into it.
I mean, that's a pretty important thing, man. It really is, for our side at least, of the spectrum, because if you took away, I don't know that mail-in ballots are unconstitutional, but I think the way that it's been done is.
Yeah, I think that there should. If you look at the obvious hypocrisy and the idiocy of the whole concept of mail-in ballots, all right. Now, when I was in the military, we got to mail our ballots in. If we were being deployed and we were going overseas, we got to do it. I can understand that. I can completely and totally understand that. I can understand a proxy vote or maybe an early vote if you are leaving the country, going on vacation, something like that. I can see how that would make sense. But here's the thing. Why are they making it easy for the elections to be messed with? Everyone in the country that is of legal voting age should have to register to vote every single fucking year, and you should always have to vote in person.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. I have no problem with that, but I also think you should at least have to be, like 25.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you've got to be a certain age to be in government, if you've got to be a certain age to be president, you should be a certain age to be able to be responsible enough to understand the concept of what a vote is and the repercussions. You shouldn't just be able to turn 18 and vote the exact same way your mom and dad do, because that's all you hear at home. You haven't been exposed to the world. You don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's like, and something else too. And people may disagree with me on this. I think convicted felons that are released from prison, you should not only get your voting rights back, but if you didn't commit a violent crime with a firearm, you should have the right to bear arms. That's in the Constitution. Your life, if you went to prison and you served your time and you've been reformed, then all your rights need to be returned to you, period.
I agree. If you served the time that you went through the court system, they gave you your time.
By not giving you your voting rights back, you're saying that it didn't work.
But now I will say that in today's time, I'm kind of leaning the other way, and the reason I say this is because of all the corrupt DAs and prosecuting attorneys and stuff that we have in the when they're just releasing people like crazy. And just think about it, if you had all these violent criminals that are getting released, all these people that are getting released, If they just give them all their rights back, man, you know, it's even worse. But I guess really it doesn't matter because they still fucking commit
Doesn't
crimes.
matter. I mean, you're talking about New York and LA where they don't have any gun rights to begin with. I mean,
I know it's like it's really just a whole fucked system, man. It's just fucked, man. It's you know it's going to have to crash and burn big time
oh yeah.
before it can ever.
Well, we can't be fixed. We've stretched the dollar. We've stretched the fiat currency past the point of no return. You know, there's no way to dig ourselves out of that hole. You know what I mean? It's going to have to be something new. That one world currency bullshit, whatever it is, something's going to happen, and there's nothing we can fucking do about it. There's literally nothing.
But they're already locking it down to that. I mean, just look at what the IRS has done, man, with the $600 thing.
Mm-hmm.
It went to be where you used to could earn up to 20 grand in that kind of way before you had to start. That's the way it was. You could earn up to $20,000 just doing bullshit, you know, yard sales and not have to claim any of it. Now it's $600, and they're even talking about, you know, if you start doing yard sales and you're making this money, you know what I'm saying? They're going to want to know. They're going to want to know, you know, is this a business? You know, they're going to start looking at you because you're why is kids under 18 taxed on their paycheck?
That's a beautiful question.
Well, that is a great fucking question. Great.
And also with taxation without representation, that is the most that sentence has been ass raped for about 200 years now, because just all you have to do now is you're being represented by a crook. So technically you're being represented and you're being taxed. You know, it worked real great, taxation without representation, when it involved the English Parliament when we were breaking away. But here, since it's a government of the people, by the people, for the people, duly elected, you're represented. Even if you hate the motherfucker, even if you doesn't do anything right, you're still being represented. It doesn't mean you're being represented correctly.
So should we even go as far as saying that if we want to try to raise the voting age, let's say to 21 or 25, you know, should we not have to pay should you not have to pay taxes until you are of the voting age to where you can be taxed with representation?
I think if you're earning an income, you should be taxed. I think if you're earning an income, you should be taxed. I don't think you should be taxed the way we are now. But here's the thing: the only reason we're being taxed out of existence is because of the federal government. We don't need a fucking federal government, people. Every state should govern themselves. We should be a collective, almost like the Greek city-states. Every state should be able to govern themselves, but be under an umbrella of defense, an umbrella of trade. The government can function the exact same way it is today on 1/10 of the federal taxes, because we're not paying these exorbitant salaries to these asshats. I mean, why do we need 9 justices on the Supreme Court? Do you people realize there is no set number how many Supreme Court justices you can have? There is no number. It can be as low as 1, and it can go as high as 5 million fucking people. You know, and they get paid for life. That position is for life. Here's something else. There is not a requirement for you to be a Supreme Court justice. You do not have. It is not a requirement for you to have a law degree. It is not a requirement for you to be a lawyer or even have been a judge. He can appoint his nephew. He can appoint anybody to be a Supreme Court justice if they're confirmed. You don't have to have a law degree. It's ridiculous. So the Supreme Court, obviously, it needs to be an odd number of people so you can get an actual vote that works, yes or no. But 3, 5, I can see 5 working. You know, when you're getting up to 7, 9, 12, 15, that's ridiculous. That's whoever's in charge packing the court, because if you put one there, they're there for life. So as a Democrat, if you put a Democrat or a left-leaning Supreme Court justice, that's a vote that's going to stay there for the rest of that person's life. That's why they're trying to stack the court.
Right.
And it should not be a lifelong appointment. I think it should be, I literally I think that the Supreme Court justice appointments should be a 4-year appointment, and I think it should alternate with the presidential election. I think 2 years into a presidential term, there should be an election for Supreme Court justices. And I think it should, that way you get 2 years of 2 different Supreme Court. That way it's not, you can't go in there and for my entire 4 years as a Republican president, I have a Republican conservative Supreme Court. It should be fair. Yeah, and you should,
you know what sucks though about that, Ghost, is that us that have been around for a minute since, you know, back in the when we remember when we used to have to take the chisel and the hammer and write on stone, you know, to write a letter.
Oh yeah,
you had to write small too, man, because you know these stones get heavy, you know, so you didn't want to write a lot. But no, just being around a minute and seeing how this shit has escalated. The problem I see is if you did an off-cycle election like that for Supreme Court justices, is when the liberals are in there, they're going to get somebody as far left as they can. And then when well, I know, but I'm saying you would have them in there consistently instead of like right now, you know, supposedly, you know, conservative have the more authority.
Right.
And
plus they get to pick and choose what cases they hear. What kind of shit is that? Right. I mean, why would you not hear a case involving a presidential election?
Right.
That should have went to the top of the list. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And no should never have been an option. I mean, they literally get to look at a list of stuff on the docket and choose what they want to hear or what they want to do.
That's because none of them, liberal and conservative and centrist in the Supreme Court, none of them motherfuckers wanted their name on that shit.
Right. True.
Because they would have had to look at the constitutionality.
I hate to interrupt this, but we've got a little over 10 minutes until the members live, and I want to go shove some food in my mouth before 10:30. So let's go ahead and stick a fork in this conversation, and we'll pick it up on the members. Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
For those of y'all that know what I'm talking about, man, we're fixing to talk really bad about y'all, but you got to pay to listen. Anyway, we'll see you.
All right. Y'all have a good night. For those of you that are members, I'll see you in about 12 minutes. For those of you that aren't, please consider joining if you want to hear what we got to talk about. We're just going to continue down this path and just hang out with the members for an hour, 2 hours. I don't know. Last week it turned into 7. We'll see what happens. Y'all have a good one.
Membership's all I can say.
Good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.